Peace, peace, peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, I want to make a video for my Muslim brothers and sisters, right? And I want to talk about abrogation in the Qur'an, because a lot of people seem to be having little discrepancies or issues with this. And again, I'm not a scholar. I'm not somebody of high knowledge, right? But I know a little something. And everything I tell you, I suggest you to go verify it, go check in with somebody else, and fact check everything that I'm telling you. So I want to talk about abrogation in the Quran, because there's a lot of people who quote the Quran. They have their own interpretation. They're not reading the tafsir. They're not reading what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says about that verse. They're not reading what the companions said about the verse or how they applied it. They're just reading the verse and they're just going by their own ignorant interpretation, right? And this is what differentiates us by the people that came before us, right? By the Christians and the Jews. The fact that we still have one interpretation of the Quran, right? I mean, there's other deviant groups who come up with their own interpretations, but for the most part, we have one interpretation of the Quran, and you can go out there and get it. There's tafsir. I read personally from Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir learned from At-Tabari. At-Tabari was somebody who learned, or he got a lot of his stuff from Ibn Abbas. And if you know who Ibn Abbas was, I believe, the nephew of the Prophet Muhammad, or his cousin, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Ibn Abbas, the Prophet Muhammad made a dua that Ibn Abbas was granted the understanding of the book. He said, "Oh Allah, grant him understanding of the book." So Ibn Abbas became an interpreter of the Quran after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed. Not saying that there wasn't other companions who did interpret the Quran, but Ibn Abbas was one of the prominent ones who did. So I say that to say that when you read a passage from the Quran, it's important to go read why was it revealed, at what period of time, and how did the companions interpret it or understood it. Because when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came with the book to give us the message. So he explained the book to us. When he passed away, his companions carried out the work of explaining the book to us. So it's very important that we see what they say. We can't just go on our own accord. We can't just be freestyling and making up things. That's very important when it comes to Islam. So back to abrogation of the Quran. Abrogation means there's some verses that were replaced by other verses. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions, they chose to leave it in the book of the Quran, because it all came from Allah, and they didn't want to take out the things that he replaced. They just left all of it in there. But if you read the tafsir and you read certain things, you will see and know that they have been replaced by other verses, right? And I'm gonna read you a passage from the Quran. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 106, and Surah Baqarah is 2, right? 2:106, it says, "Whatever a verse do we abrogate or cause to be forgotten, we bring a better one or similar to it. Know you not that Allah is able to do all things?" Now, when you look at the tafsir, it says that to bring forth, that this means, Ibn Abbas said that it means to bring forth a more beneficial ruling. So kind of like just replacing the verse. I'll give you an example. When Allah first revealed about alcohol, when he first revealed a verse about alcohol, he said in the Quran, it speaks about how in gambling, and I'll read it to you. It says, "They ask you concerning alcoholic drink and gambling. Say, in them is a great sin and some benefit for men, but the sin of them is greater than their benefit." So Allah is basically saying, like, there's some benefit and then there's a sin, but the sin is worse than the benefit that you receive. And this is one of the first verses revealed about alcoholic drinks. So notice how it wasn't a complete ban, right? It was just like, there's some good and there's some bad in it for you. This is just letting them know. The next verse, it speaks about to do not approach the salah intoxicated, right? While you are, and I'm looking for the verse right now, but it speaks about do not approach salah when you are intoxicated. So see, slowly Allah is letting them know, like, okay, first he told them, there's a good in it and there's a bad. All right, so it says right here, I found it. It's in Surah 4, ayat 43. It says, "O you who believe, approach not salah while you are in a drunken state until you know the meaning of what you utter." So Allah is telling, now he's telling people, do not approach your prayer in a form of drunkenness until you know what you're saying. So slowly, he's giving you another ruling. So you're not going to apply the old ruling, right? You don't go by the old ruling because he just gave you another ruling. And then in another verse, he totally banned it. And I'm trying to get the verse. I probably should have been got the verse for y'all. But in another ayat, he talks about it, right? He talks about he prohibits intoxicants, period. So my point in saying this, all right, so I don't seem to find it right now. My point in saying this is that it was a gradual thing. He didn't just out of nowhere come and said, "Oh, don't drink." You know, he slowly weaned people off of it. So these are different verses. One verse was real first, you know, it's good and bad. Another verse was like, "Yo, do not pray while you're intoxicated." And then the last verse he revealed, he just banned it. He just said intoxicants is prohibited, right? Another example I give you of abrogation is when Muslims first used to pray, they used to face Jerusalem, right? This was like you know how like they face Mecca today? They used to face Jerusalem at first when they used to pray. And then Allah revealed to change the direction to the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, right? So you don't pray facing Jerusalem, right? Even though there's a verse that was revealed to face Jerusalem when you pray, right? No, because there was another verse that was revealed after that saying face Mecca when you pray. So this is another example of abrogation in the Qur'an. Another thing that used to happen during the nights of Ramadan, at first, you could not sleep with your wife during the nights of Ramadan, right? And then something was revealed that stating now you can sleep with your wife at night in the month of Ramadan. So it's a few other verses, even for the verses of before the verses of jihad were kind of like revealed, right? The Muslims were told to be patient when they was being persecuted, when they was being violated, when they was being mistreated. They were told to be patient, to be patient, to be patient, right? But the moment then Allah changed that, right? And Allah revealed that they could defend themselves. You can fight. You can put up a fight. You know, so I'm just showing you an example. And there's many different ayats in the Quran that have been abrogated. But you wouldn't know that if you don't follow the proper steps of understanding the Quran. So I just wanted to share that with y'all because a lot of us think we could just read the book and just interpret it however we want to interpret it. And you got to be very careful because this is the same issues that the people that came before us fell into, the Jews and the Christians, right? They have thousands of Bibles. They have thousands of different interpretations. You can go to many different people and they'll tell you something different, right? Because they have lost the teachings of their prophets. So be glad that Allah said he will protect your book, that he will preserve it, and be glad that we have scholars who kind of like help us understand the book better. And just remember the sources. You read the Quran, you read the tafsir, see what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said and what his companion said, and you should be fine. Inshallah, if I said anything that was beneficial and helpful to the community, it came from Allah alone, and I'm grateful for that. And inshallah, may he accept it from me. Forgive me of my faults. And anything that I said that was bad, it came from me, from my own defects. And may Allah forgive me for it. And have a blessed day. Peace.